Today, we're gonna delve into the topic of siding. Highly debated, tons of different options. You're gonna have more options than you would like when it comes to siding. The first thing that come to mind, 101 in siding, water. How are you gonna peel the water off your house? That's the purpose of siding. Cladding is another name for siding. The purpose of cladding is to keep your house dry and let it air out when it does get wet. We're gonna delve into 3 different topics of, or I guess I should say, I've categorized all of the siding options into 3 different categories. Painted, not painted, and pre-primed siding options. Man, everybody's coming out, aren't they?
I know, right? It's fun. All right, let's just start.
Your painted options for siding. LP Smart Side, which is gonna be an OSB material. It's gonna be an engineered hardwood, as some people call it. Your James Hardy is gonna be a cement-based material. Metal, aluminum, is gonna be what most metals are gonna be made out of, metal siding. Boral is actually gonna be a fly ash, which is totally different than any other ones that we've talked about so far. It's actually the light ash of a coal stack, right? Here's the heavy stuff, here's the light stuff. It's the light stuff, that's what boral is. Akoya is gonna be a acetylated building material. It's gonna be not so much of an OSB or oriented strand board, it's gonna be this hybrid of a building material that we actually don't see a lot in the US, but it's worth mentioning here because I think that trend is gonna change in the US. And it's a great product to consider when picking your cladding or siding material. Let's talk about your pre-painted siding. I put pre-painted / 75% complete, ready to be put on your house as a complete siding package. Because a lot of these pre-painted materials are not 100% ready to be put on your house. When they're being installed on your house, there's gonna be a lot of touch-up that's still gonna need to take place until it's 100%, right? So no siding, you can just pick up off the ground, cut, and put on, right? Well, maybe a Akoya, but we'll come back to that later. LP Smart Side, you're gonna wanna still paint all of the butt joints. All of your nail holes that are coming out on any outside corners, exterior trim, any trim around windows, those are all going to need to be painted with a color matched paint that they'll supply, or the supplier if you're buying where you're buying your siding from. Metal is an interesting, complete, pre-painted, texturized material for siding. This is as close as you're going to get to 100% material that's ready to be slapped on to your house. You're probably gonna still have a little bit of touch-ups and definitely more of a higher level of installation. You're gonna have to get a contractor that's gonna be really good with his snips and have maybe some specialty tools for cutting metal as well. Non-painted sidings. I put a couple of these options in here, and just to clarify, non-painted is 100% complete, ready to put on a structure. So these 3 types of siding, vinyl, Akoya, and select, slap it on. The least amount of touch-up that you're gonna have to do on your siding project is gonna be non-painted options. I think I get nervous with the camera so close to me.
Oh, do you want me back up?
It's okay, it's okay. Vinyl is by far one of the most popular siding materials out there. Tons of different options, tons of different thicknesses. This is an 060 panel. And then rigidity-wise, you can get up into the 050 panel, right? And so there's gonna be tons of different options and imitations of what they've done with vinyl. A lot of crazy stuff they've done. Houses are looking fabulous with vinyl if done right. Akoya is in a category on its own. They use a patented technology and acetylate the wood into kind of an OSB type of wood. America is gonna see a lot more of these kind of specs where the actual wood is taking shape and wears with the sun, and that's how the wood is gonna change its color. It can be painted as well, But I think it's a super interesting topic, and I would love to see the evolution of this in the next 10 years of this product. Select siding. I'm grinning because it's costly, it's beautiful, and it's hard to install. With all those three things considered, it's worth considering. It's the PVC cellular type of siding, is going to have great UV resistance, is going to look beautiful, give it a nice custom look. There's a lot of benefits to it, but I think what we've came across is the installation certifications are very, very different, and installation process are very, very different than any other siding we've ever put on. So just make sure you read those instruction manuals when putting a Select material on. This is a Select corner. This is a PVC cellular, so it's going to be a composite PVC, in my opinion, compared to a Ply Gym or Poly Gym and AZEK materials out there, which those are PVC materials. This Select PVC material is a little bit higher grade than the other PVCs that we've dealt with. It's an interesting topic to put in maybe select corners with maybe a vinyl house. You know, integrating these two types of sidings, this would be a candidate to definitely consider. Number 2 scenario, you want this house to be around for future generations. Really have to look at the larger perspective. Metal siding is going to be my number 1 suggestion. Number 2, look at a brick or masonry wainscoting around the house to give it additional protection from ground contact. That's going to give the siding an upward advantage of peeling off all that water off the house. It's going to last for hundreds of years. A lot of times it's been outdated, and a lot of people have forgotten about metal siding. A lot of these homes that have been built in the 70s and 80s, those things are still standing, maybe a couple dents in the metal, but they've been repainted, and they peel off dry. They dry from the sheathing from the inside of the house. It's just a great material that I would highly recommend if the budgets are there. Thanks for nerding out with us on all the different siding materials out there. If this has been helpful for you, please like and subscribe to the channel below. If there's anything that I didn't touch upon, please comment, and I'll be sure to get to those comments.